Right now at 6, what we're learning about the effort to relieve medical debt for thousands of four-staters.
Plus, we have a windy morning ahead of us. I'll have the details coming up.
And obesity rates are on the rise in Missouri. We hear from a dietitian about ways you can avoid packing on the pounds through the holidays.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chloe Arroyo. It's starting to be a kind of a windy morning. Let's hope folks don't blow away today.
I know.
Oh,
it could be pretty windy out there, and I mean, stay safe out there for sure.
Yes, for sure. Have you ever driven with like super strong wind gusts?
Yeah, and you're like white knuckling it
yes,
a little bit.
You're gripping onto the steering wheel pretty tight. That's what folks are going to have to do because wind gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour between now and the next hour or two. So it's really just for the morning hours. In the next couple of hours, it'll slowly start to taper off a little bit. But yeah, this morning for that work commute, even kiddos going out to class this morning, standing out in the bus stop, it's going to be cold as it is. So
yeah, bundle up.
Yeah,
for sure.
adding the wind on top of that. Let's go ahead and look at the current winds right now. We're starting to see that northerly wind ramp up anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. So a pretty consistent and heavy wind with us, but also wind gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour anywhere from now in the next hour or two. This is a look at 8 a.m. We'll see wind gusts still upwards of 30 miles per hour, and even around lunchtime we'll have some wind gusts, notable wind gusts with us. So then this evening we'll begin to calm down, luckily, so it's really just this morning that you'll have to worry about. But we also have a cold front pushing through right now. On the back end of that cold front, we'll see temperatures in the 30s. It's slowly starting to push off southward, and we'll see those temperatures cool down from the 40s into the 30s as you head a little further south over the next hour or two. Between the cold front and those wind gusts, we'll see feel like temperatures anywhere from the teens to the 20s. Iola, Yates Center, feeling like 18 to 19 degrees outside here in just a bit. And even this afternoon, we're still going to feel like the 20s to lower 30s outside. So for your bus stop forecast, we'll start to see those temperatures warm up just a little bit. But again, that feel like temperature is still going to be a whole lot colder than the actual temperature. This afternoon, we'll have a decrease in clouds. 44 degrees around the time that the kids get out of class and get off that bus stop this afternoon. Our temperatures are going to be in the mid 40s this afternoon. So coming up in a bit, we're going to talk more about these temperatures and how long the cooler temperatures will last, because we're going to see a warming trend once again. We're also going to talk about the later on forecast at the end of this week will be pretty calm, and then rain chances on Christmas Eve. We've been talking about it. I've got an update on that coming up in a bit.
All right, Chloe, thanks. Well, we're learning more details about the massive financial efforts to help some area families pay their medical bills. Every year before Christmas, Hope City Church in Joplin makes an investment into the community. And this year, they donated money to help thousands of people with their medical debt. Now, Cody Walker, the lead pastor, says this was made possible through the church community coming together and donating. Now, over the next 2 weeks, notification letters will be sent to families that will have their medical debt abolished.
The church is supposed to be about the people in the community that it represents. And so we want to make sure that the folks in the Joplin area and the four-state area know that our heart and our hope is that we would be a blessing to those around us.
Hope City Church partnered with an organization that helps negotiate medical debt and were able to help some 3,200 people in Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas. Now, they say the program this year is providing more than $4 million in relief. Well, Missouri is ranked 16th worst in the nation for obesity, with 36% of the state's population classified as obese. Now, that means they have a body mass index higher than 30. Jasper County is at the state average, but neighboring Newton and McDonald counties rank a little worse than average. The CDC recommends 150 minutes of exercise a week, as well as eating a balanced diet, reducing sugary foods and beverages to control weight gain.
I think the most important thing is consistency. A lot of people will have, tips, tricks on what to do as far as workouts, diet, but consistency I believe is the most important thing in getting with a personal trainer to talk about your goals and really learn what you need to do for yourself or your body to get in shape and stay in shape.
Now, the CDC says being mindful of your daily consumption will help prevent unattended weight gain. Well, Joplin area Catholic schools released details about an upcoming series that aims to educate the area. Now, it's dubbed Past, Present, Future. Now, the series discusses Joplin's rich Catholic history while highlighting the important values of why the Catholic schools were established in Joplin.
So the Sisters of Mercy were very much focused on serving the poor. So they wanted to make sure that students here in the Joplin community were afforded an opportunity to receive a Catholic education, focused on the faith aspect in serving those in the community around them. So that same mission sticks with us today. We want to make sure that the Catholic education is an opportunity for students in our community, and we'll make sure that that continues into the future.
Jax has a series of sessions planned in January, which concludes with a bus tour led by Mercy Hospital President Jeremy Drinkwitz. Well, Joplin's Freeman Auxiliary continued an annual Christmas tradition yesterday. Group members delivered armloads of gifts to place below the Christmas tree at the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. Now, the gifts will brighten the holidays for the 7 families temporarily staying there. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Now, Grubhub has to pay $25 million in a proposed settlement for misleading diners and workers. Plus, community members in Madison, Wisconsin came together to honor the 2 people who were killed in the Christian school shooting. And Chloe Arroyo returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Carthage City Square. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates again this week for the final time of 2024. Now, in recent months, the average price gains have stayed elevated. Now, according to the Labor Department, consumer prices jumped up 2.7% for the 12 months ending in November. Wednesday marks the Federal Reserve's Federal Open Market Committee final meeting of the year. That's today. Now, following the meeting, Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell will hold a press conference this afternoon. Now, if Powell announces another interest rate cut, it would mark the 3rd rate cut of the year. Well, Grubhub will have to pay $25 million in a settlement for misleading diners and workers and harm to businesses. Now, the online food ordering company agreed to settle charges of consumer protection and competition law violations. Now, Grubhub was accused of deceiving diners about delivery costs and blocking access to their accounts and funds. The Federal Trade Commission said the company also misled delivery workers about how much money they would make on an order. The original complaint alleged since 2019, Grubhub added unaffiliated restaurants to its platform without their permission. The company allegedly did that to drive growth. Well, this morning, we continue to learn more about the shooting at a private Christian school this week in Wisconsin's capital, Madison. Now, police now say it was a 2nd grade teacher, not a student, who called to report an active shooter just before 11 a.m. on Monday. Now, last night, the community gathered to honor the 2 people who were killed. The suspected shooter also died from what police say was likely a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Yesterday, Madison's police chief said the department's top priority is finding a motive. Jared Hill has more from New York.
Another American community mourning another tragic school shooting. This one honoring the lives lost when police say a student opened fire at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin.
We will never be the same, but we will get through this.
One teenage student and a teacher were killed. Another teacher and 5 other students injured.
We went to the corner. We just hunkered down there.
Naomi Allen, a student at Abundant Life, described the harrowing moments during and after the shooting.
There was blood on the floor and down the stairs. We pretty much just ran over to the church.
Police say the suspected shooter, 15-year-old Natalie Ruppnow, who went by Samantha, appears to have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
There are always signs of a school shooting before it occurred.
Investigators are combing through the alleged shooter's home and social media, trying to piece together how she got the gun and what drove her to target her schoolmates.
At this time, it appears that the motive was a combination of factors. We're talking to students to understand whether bullying was one of those multiple factors.
Police have also acknowledged a document that's been circulating online, but they haven't publicly confirmed if it was written by the suspect. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Madison police say since Monday's shooting, other schools have received false threats, sometimes known as swatting. Now, authorities say they are working to determine the source of those calls, but they do not believe that there are any other current threats to schools in Madison. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chloe with a look at your forecast.
Well, we still have winds that are starting to peak upwards of 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Our sustained winds are anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. This is from the north, coming from the north right now, so bringing in some colder air. We're going to continue to see those wind gusts coming up in a bit. I'm going to tell you how long those wind gusts will last and how cool those temperatures will get.
Well, fans of 2 college football teams put their rivalry aside to help a boy recently diagnosed with a rare disorder. Lexi Lepoff reports.
I hate Ohio State football.
It's a common message running through Tennessee this week, just days away from a college football playoff. But some things are worth setting the rivalry aside.
To see them be so open to help us in our time of need has been really crazy.
Lifelong Ohio State fan Japheth Wilmore took to X with the news of his son Clark's recent diagnosis, Sanfilippo syndrome. Most patients of the rare genetic disorder develop dementia and die in their teen years.
For the first day or so, it just felt like we were in this thing that nobody knows that we're in it, and nobody knows what we're going through.
Then through the power of social media, a response from an unlikely friend, Vol fan James Dean.
There's so much negativity around college sports, especially in Twitter and stuff. And I was just like, hey, let's see what we can do with this.
What started as a fundraising effort to get Clark to the game turned into something bigger.
People that had my Venmo and stuff from before had already donated almost $500 before I could even post anything. And then it just took off and it grew. And I mean, it was just like $1,000 an hour that was coming in.
Many college football fandoms joining together and raising nearly $20,000. More than enough to get the Wilmores to the playoff, but also enough to get Clark to an out-of-state specialist. One of a few in the whole country for his condition. It's care that wouldn't be possible without fans' help.
They originally say, like, really, there's nothing that we can do. But if we can get him to these really well-known professionals in that field, then hopefully there is something they can do.
What started as a post trying to accept their new reality came an army of support to keep pushing through.
People helping us in the way that they are, it definitely has given us hope in the last few days.
It's certainly great to see that incredible story. Now let's head over to Chloe with a quick look at the forecast.
Well, we'll see those winds continue to ramp up this morning, so really hold on to your hats. I'll tell you all the details coming up here in just a bit. Well, welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We're going to see those winds begin to ramp up this morning. They're already at 10 to 15 miles per hour coming from the north, cooling us down. You can see across the board pretty consistent winds in terms of miles per hour. And then over the next couple of hours, we'll start to see those wind gusts continue around 30 to 35 miles per hour. At 8 a.m. anywhere from 20 to 25. And then around lunchtime will be upwards of 20 miles per hour. hour before we calm down later on this afternoon. So really the biggest portion of this will be this morning during that work commute, holding onto your steering wheel extra tight, but also for the kiddos sitting outside at that bus stop. Our temperatures are in the 40s to 30s. We're going to continue to cool down into the morning hours as this cold front begins to push further south. We'll see those temperatures dip down into the 30s before we warm up for our high. Not much more from there. Our feel-like temperatures, because of those cooler temperatures and the wind gusts, are going to be anywhere from the teens all the way to the 30s. So it's going to feel like 19 degrees and 18 degrees in Iola and Yates Center respectively. This afternoon will feel like temperatures in the 20s to even the 30s. So even though our actual temperature will be around 45 or so for a lot of us across the 4 states, we're going to feel a whole lot colder because of that wind this morning. Here's that bus stop forecast for the kiddos. We'll have mostly cloudy skies. We'll begin to clear out this morning. Like I said, that wind will be the most prominent this morning, and then it'll begin to dissipate this afternoon. Our temperature only reaching up into the mid 40s for a lot of folks, 45 degrees for Joplin, and then we'll begin to see our clouds decrease this afternoon into the evening hours, and then we'll begin to calm down in terms of our winds. So we'll clear out later on tonight, leaving us with a calm and chilly evening at that 34 degrees by 10 p.m. Our low tonight in Joplin, 30 degrees. So we'll start to see colder temperatures once again, but luckily we won't have the winds as strong later on tonight into tomorrow morning. So we won't have as strong of a wind chill tomorrow as we will see this morning, as we're already seeing as those temperatures feel relatively cold. Now here's a look at your future track. Overall, we're going to see a ridge pattern set in off into the western portion of the U.S. That's going to bring high pressure even for the central plains, and that's going to bring us calmer conditions at the end of this week. Of course, we'll see colder temperatures on Friday and more so of a mild setup on Saturday with highs in the 40s and even in the 50s. So a calm pattern throughout this week, but eventually we'll see a shift in that pattern as a trough begins to build. And perfect timing for Christmas Eve, Monday evening. This is around 8 p.m. on Monday into Tuesday morning. We could see some showers for our Christmas Eve. So if you have those travel plans, really keep that in mind as you're continuing to make your plans for Christmas Eve. On the afternoon side, we won't see as much, of course, but really keep an eye on that. We're also going to see a chance for some showers on Friday. So keeping that in mind as well. Monday and Tuesday, the first chance for showers, 30% on Monday and 20% on Tuesday. Of course, we'll be partly cloudy on Wednesday on Christmas Day, but our temperatures are almost in the 60s.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, many workers are finding it hard to unplug from work due to non-stop messages, app notifications, and meetings. Now, a study published in the journal Frontiers found employees feel fatigue and strain due to the demands and intensity of constantly being connected to work through devices, making it tough for people to detach from their jobs. And many young children suffering from the flu aren't being prescribed a key medication. A study by Vanderbilt University Medical Center found almost half of kids hospitalized with the flu didn't receive antiviral therapy, despite it being endorsed by doctors. Now, antivirals can reduce symptoms and prevent serious complications from developing. On Saturday, University Medical Center's Lions Burn Care Center in Las Vegas held its annual event where pediatric burn survivors and their families got to celebrate the holidays with the hospital heroes who helped them recover. Shauna Kalafi reports.
Thank you for saving my life, UMC, and my nurse, Miss Stacy.
Young burn victims are spending the holidays with the hospital staff who helped them heal and become burn survivors.
When I was 3 years old, I fell and hit a pot filled with hot water and got burned all over. Then I got sent to UMC. Then I got my burns treated there, and here we are now.
Saturday was UMC's 21st annual Little Roar holiday party for pediatric burn survivors and their families. a chance to spend time with the doctors, nurses, and first responders who aided in their recovery.
It's been amazing every year. We always wait for this season to meet our nurse, Miss Stacy. She was born unit nurse when Jose had his accident.
It's very important because I get to see everyone and catch up and just have fun with the people I haven't seen in a minute.
It's also a chance for these survivors to let loose and meet others just like them.
We did a throwing axe game. We played tic-tac-toe.
We just want to provide a little bit of normalcy for them, something to celebrate that they're out of the hospital and that they have gone back to their normal lives. And it's also really wonderful to see them just light up and, you know, be around other kids that have been through something similar, be able to just let free and be kids again.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, our partners at Bishop and Hayes take us on a toy box shopping spree.
Plus, it's going to be a windy morning for the 4 states. I'll have the timeline and how long that'll last coming up.
And the Cherryvale Public Library invites the community for some Christmas gift giving.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's just coming up on 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chloe Arroyo. It's really starting to ramp up outside with those winds. Oh my goodness. And it always makes a huge difference. When it's cold outside, it's one thing, but it's tolerable when it's calm outside.
Right, but when it's windy, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's in your face and it's just, it's
away.
not fun. Yeah, exactly. I don't want any part of it. Yes, it makes it feel so much colder out there.
It really does.
And that's actually, fun fact, how the wind chill is calculated. If you add the wind onto it, that's what the feel like temperature is.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
How about that?
Yeah, and it's actually what your body responds to, not the actual temperature. So really keep that in mind. In fact, let's go ahead and look over at those winds right now. We have sustained winds of 10 to 15 miles per hour. That northerly wind still cooling us down across the board. This has ramped up in the past hour or so, and we're starting to see those wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 35 miles per hour. That's going to be around 20 to 25 around 8 a.m. and then over closer to lunchtime, we'll still have a wind gust, but it'll still start to steadily decrease this afternoon, and then this evening will calm down in terms of those wind gusts. But really keep that in mind for this morning. Now those temperatures are starting to cool down even more. We've got a cold front pushing through, dipping us down into the 30s. So right now Joplin's at 42, Joplin's at 41, Neosho at 42. Those are going to start to decrease. Those temperatures are in the next hour or two as that cold front begins to push through. Now our feel like temperature, as we were just now talking about, the wind gusts are going to make the feel like temperature colder than the actual temperature. So we're really feeling like 19 degrees in Iola, 18 degrees in Yates Center, and that's going to continue across this afternoon. We're going to feel like we're in the 20s to even 30s across this afternoon. So even though our high is going to be in the 40s, our feel like it's going to be a whole lot colder than that. Now, as those kiddos are heading out to the bus stop, we're going to see temperatures in the 30s. Again, those wind gusts are going to still ramp up, so we'll see the temperatures, or the feel like temperatures, a whole lot colder than that. This afternoon will be in the 40s as they're heading home. Now northerly winds will start to die down just a little bit, so it'll allow us to feel a tad bit warmer than this morning. Now coming up in a bit, we're going to talk more about this windy and chilly morning ahead of us, how long it'll last, as well as a mild weekend ahead of us. And talking long term for Christmas Eve, we're tracking some rainfall. We'll have the updated forecast and more coming up.
All right, we'll see you soon, Chloe. We partner with a lot of businesses and charitable organizations to make the Toy Box Project a success. And those include the folks at Miss Daisy's in Joplin who helped with shopping to make sure your donations are spent wisely. KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks gives us a look.
This year we shopped for kids from the Angel Tree for Salvation Army, and I was kind of like nervous that we would have to choose from a list, and it was great. It was so fun having that individual person to shop for. I think it just has a little bit more meaning. I mean, it's all great. We love shopping for the kids, but knowing that this is going to somebody who really wants it, and this is the item they were specifically asking for, just meant a lot more to us. I feel like this is a lot of fun, and it's just a way for us to give back to the community. And who doesn't love shopping for toys, especially kids that need them and want them, and just to see that joy. Well, we don't get to see the joy, but I wish we could. This is the best. I love it. I love that, getting to spend time with families. I think it makes people a little cheerier and maybe nicer. It's just, just the whole spirit of this season. We totally enjoy. We love the customers that come into the store and are just excited to find that perfect gift for somebody. I feel like that's what we were doing today, is finding that perfect gift for a kid in need. My favorite part is just being around my family. Honestly, gift giving, I stress out with gift giving. So this makes it even more fun for me because the pressure is a little bit lower, but still going to somebody who I know will enjoy it.
Now you'll be able to rewatch and share that video with others, and you can find it on KOAMnewsnow.com. And a lot of effort goes into getting toys to the families who need them, and we couldn't do this by ourselves. Every year we lean on the support of our community partners like the staff at Bishop and Hayes in Joplin. Now for them, the effort is certainly worth it.
Well, I would encourage everyone to donate to the Toy Box campaign because it benefits local kids, and the money that you donate goes right to the very county in which you live. And so, if you want to help kids in your community, the KOAM Toy Box is a great way to do that.
And we want to thank all of our partners that made our Toy Box campaign possible. Well, the Cherryvale, Kansas Public Library also got in on the season of giving. Yesterday, the library accepted donated toys for less fortunate children in the community. Now, kiddos could pick out one toy from the donations and give it to a family member.
It's really cool that the kids get to come and pick out for their families because, they might not get that experience elsewhere. And so for them to be able to do that with completely free donations and, not have to pay for it, it's been a pretty cool experience.
Volunteers help wrap the presents just in time for Christmas. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A new FTC rule targets to ban junk fees on hotels and event tickets. And we have a cooler and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chloe Arroyo in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Carthage City Square. In Consumer Watch this morning, well, if you're traveling during the holidays, it's important to know what you can and cannot bring on board. Now, if you're traveling with young kids, there are plenty of resources to help you get through the airport. Jen Sullivan breaks down the do's and don'ts for holiday travelers.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, but if you're traveling, the holiday season can bring unwanted headaches. And there will be a record number of travelers on the road and in the skies. AAA is expecting more than 119 million people to travel 50 miles or more between Saturday, December 21st and Wednesday, January 1st. Nearly 8 million people will fly, so expect long lines.
If you are checking a bag, I would get to the airport at least 2.5 hours early.
If you need assistance getting through security, and this includes young families, you can request help 72 hours ahead of your trip by filling out a TSA Cares assistance form. People who need assistance and families with kids under 2 can typically board first.
Usually the first people to get called are people who need more time to board.
What happens if your family isn't sitting together?
The gate agent is going to make that change automatically because they're going to see that minors are sitting separately from their guardians.
Many airports also have family restrooms, nursing stations, and even kid play areas to make it easier for families. And parents can bring breast milk and/or formula greater than 3.4 ounces on board. If you're bringing gifts on the plane, the TSA recommends putting them in gift bags instead of wrapping them in case the item needs to be inspected. Gifting a snow globe? If it's bigger than a tennis ball, it likely has more than 3.4 ounces of liquid and needs to be checked. Solid foods like fruitcake, chocolate, and candy canes can all go on board. Items like wine and even maple syrup need to be checked. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, the Federal Trade Commission has a new rule to ban so-called junk fees on hotels and live event tickets. Now, the regulation requires companies to disclose all costs to the consumer in a timely, transparent, and truthful manner. Now, the aim is to prevent surprise charges such as resort or service fees right at the end of a transaction, which the federal agency describes as deceptive. Now, the new rule is set to go into effect next year. Well, members of Congress have unveiled a bipartisan spending measure that would keep the federal government funded through mid-March. It includes around $100 billion in disaster aid and $10 billion in economic assistance to farmers. Lawmakers have until Friday to pass the bill in order to avert a shutdown. And the restaurant chain best known for its Tex-Mex menu, Taco Bell, now says it wants to reimagine the chicken nugget. Now, starting tomorrow, the chain will serve up its new all-white meat chicken bites covered in a crunchy tortilla chip breading. Taco Bell is also partnering with Hidden Valley on a new signature dipping sauce, as well as 2 other sauce flavors, Fire Ranch and Jalapeno Honey Mustard. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chloe with another look at your forecast.
Well, those winds are still continuing to ramp up this morning, so if you're heading out, really keep that in mind in everything you do this morning. We've got that northerly wind anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour, so continuing to track that wind gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour, and then around 8 a.m. will be around 25 to 30. Then around lunchtime, we'll still have a wind gust with us before we calm down later on this afternoon. Now, as for your temperatures, we have a cold front pushing through. That's moving down further south. On the back end of that, we've got temperatures in the 30s. So these temperatures a little further south, you'll still see a couple degrees cooler this morning than what you're seeing right now. So you haven't reached your low for last night quite yet. This afternoon, we're not going to warm up much from there. In fact, our feel like temperatures are going to feel relatively cold. Our temperatures are going to feel like the teens. 19 and 18 for Yates Center is what it's going to feel like this morning. And then even this afternoon, we'll see those temperatures feeling like not our actual temperature, but our temperatures feeling like the upper 20s to lower 30s this afternoon. Now for that bus stop forecast, we'll see those temperatures still in the 30s, but we'll have that wind ramping up, making our feel like temperature a whole lot colder. Our winds are going to calm down, as well as the clouds are going to begin to dissipate this afternoon, so we'll see a little bit more sunshine with that. So our temperatures are going to warm up, not by much, but only in the 40s. So coming up in a bit, I'm going to have the long range forecast. We're talking rain chances for Christmas Eve. I'll have all of those details and more, but hey, it's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, and they're up right after the break. But first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, Anthony Mason meets up with the surviving members of the Grateful Dead who just became Kennedy Center honorees. Congrats. And actor Ben Schwartz is the voice of Sonic in the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie. He joins us along with his co-star James Marsden to talk about the film. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
Well, it's time to celebrate today's birthdays and anniversaries here in the 4 states, starting in Columbus with Levi Hutto. Turning 9 today. It says here, happy birthday from all your family. Happy birthday, Levi.
And double digits for Kylan Sims, all the way from Pittsburgh, Kansas. Love from Mom, JoJo, Cece, Papa, and Mimi. Have a wonderful day.
And a happy birthday to Aria Moreno, turning 11 today in Webb City.
And happy 11th birthday to Gentry Schaefer from Altamont, Kansas. Love Mom, Dad, little sister, and little brother.
And in Girard, a happy 12th birthday to Emmett Spivey. It says here, we love you from Mom, Dad, and sister. Happy birthday, Emmett.
Oh, and Skylar Savart, happy 15th birthday. Almost driver's permit season. Oh my goodness. St. Paul, Kansas is where he's from. Family wishes you lots of birthday fun.
And in Wyandotte, also celebrating birthday number 15 is Dax Marlowe. Happy birthday.
Next, we have Claire Smith, her 17th birthday, daughter of James Maston, commercial production here at KOAM. Happy birthday.
And in Carl Junction, a happy birthday to Terry and Jerry Worley, turning 68 today. Happy birthday to you both.
And happy birthday, Gary Lavelle, 78 years old, from Crestline, Texas. We hope you have a wonderful day.
And in Columbus, a happy 26th anniversary to Justin and Jennifer Cobberly.
Have a happy birthday, Heather Peterman, all the way from Columbus, Kansas. Happy birthday from the boys.
And continuing our wonderful list, over in Galesburg, Kansas, a happy 18th birthday to Maddie Hodgen. Says, wish you the best birthday, love, Mom, Dad, and Kylie.
Wishing you a wonderful anniversary, 19th year anniversary, from Columbus, Kansas, Mike and Hillary Evans.
And a happy birthday to Sherry Jones in Galena.
Tim and Brenda Barrett, happy anniversary, all the way from Columbus, Kansas as well.
That was a wonderful list of birthdays and anniversaries this Wednesday morning. Now, if you would like to share your birthdays or anniversaries with us, you can do so by submitting them to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos, those messages. We sure love to read them. To meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration as well when submitting. That is very important to make sure we're celebrating you on the right day. Now let's head over to Chloe with a full look at the forecast.
Well, it's a windy start for all of those birthdays and anniversaries, but luckily it's going to calm down this afternoon. We've got that northerly wind anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour across the 4 states right now. Again, that northerly wind is keeping us relatively cool this morning. Now, our wind gusts were upwards of 35 miles per hour, and now around 8 a.m. they're going to be around 25 to 30 miles per hour, and then we'll still have a wind gust with us around lunchtime before that dissipates. Later on this afternoon, we'll see calmer conditions. Especially later on tonight, will be pretty calm. Temperatures right now are in the 30s to 40s. On the back end of this cold front, we've got temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, and then we still have temperatures in the 40s, but those are expected to cool down just a little bit over the next hour or two as that northerly wind continues to push in that colder air. So we're also seeing feel-like temperatures a good 10 degrees colder than the actual temperature. So we'll see our feel-like temperatures are going to feel like the teens for a lot of folks in the northwestern counties this morning and even this afternoon. This is around 5 p.m. today. We're going to feel like 20s to lower 30s across the board. So our feel like temperature, our wind chill factor, is going to be relatively cold throughout the entire day. Now for your bus stop forecast for the kiddos today, we're going to see those temperatures in the 30s, but like I said, we have that wind gust that's really going to continue to ramp up over the morning to mid-morning hours. And then this afternoon, that will calm down, as well as our clouds will begin to decrease. So we'll have some sunshine warming us up just a little bit, not by much, into the mid 40s this afternoon. In fact, Joplin, your high 45 degrees for today. We'll start to see the temperatures decline after about 2 p.m. or so. And those clouds are still going to continue to dissipate this afternoon into later on tonight. Will be mostly clear to clear skies for a lot of us across the 4 states. Temperatures will dip down into the 30s, 30 degrees for your low tonight here in Joplin. So we'll continue to see those colder temperatures for the lows and then warming right back up. That's been a trend over the last couple of days or so. Now here's a long range forecast for you. We've got those temperatures cooling down at the end of this week, especially on Friday afternoon. We're going to have a ridge place or be set in our system on the western portion of the U.S. That's going to keep us relatively calm, even off into the central plains before we change our weather pattern next week, and that's going to be Monday night into Tuesday, Christmas Eve, or we'll see a chance for showers as well. So this is Monday night into Tuesday morning. We could see that around the 4 states as well. So really keeping that in mind for any travel plans you may have leading up to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We should be in the clear by later on Tuesday evening. Now here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Like I said, we have that chance for showers Monday night into Christmas Eve morning, and then Christmas Day on Wednesday will be partly cloudy, so no rainfall on that day, but Friday could see a 20% chance for showers. That's 2 days after Christmas. So really keep that in mind. But our temperatures are really going to continue to warm up. Wednesday, high of 57. Thursday of next week, high of 61. Now, when coming up on the KOAM Morning News, as it switches on over to Fox 14, a group in Oklahoma is working hard to ensure that everyone has a holiday meal this year. Stick around.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Missouri is ranked the 16th worst in the nation for obesity, with 36% of the state's population classified as obese. And Jasper County is at the state average, but neighboring Newton and McDonald counties rank a little worse than average. The CDC recommends 150 minutes of exercise a week, as well as eating a balanced diet to control weight gain. The Cherryville, Kansas Public Library got in on the season of giving. Yesterday, the library accepted donated toys for less fortunate children in the community. Kiddos could pick out one toy from the donations and give it to a family member. The children also partook in various activities and were given free books. And Joplin's Freeman Auxiliary continued an annual Christmas tradition yesterday. Group members delivered armloads of gifts to place below the Christmas tree at the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. The gifts will brighten the holidays for the 7 families temporarily staying there. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Now this evening, after those winds really sweep down the plain this morning, we're going to calm down this afternoon into the evening. We'll be relatively calm in terms of our winds, but we're going to cool down quite a bit once again into the 30s, 30 degrees for your low in Joplin. We'll start to see those temperatures stay cold until we head into the week. So calm and cool for the end of this week. Another chance for showers and storms Monday and Tuesday morning, which Tuesday morning, that's the morning of Christmas Eve before we see a break on Wednesday for Christmas Day. And then Friday, we'll see another chance for showers enter into the picture.
Might not exactly feel like winter, but calm and cool, you can't really complain.
No, you can't too much. Yeah.
Right. Nope. Thanks, Chloe. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Holly Jolly Fudge in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. Now, this morning, a group in England is spreading holiday cheer by knitting.
Plus, Kenny Dodson joins us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday.
Well, that'll wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon as well.